Okay, so yesterday we have seen the Lightning data table, how to display the records, same as whatever we have in the standard Salesforce. So we have built account name, type, what are the column names are there, name, phone number, industry, rating. Right, this is what we have seen. This is the standard Lightning data table. Okay, for example, let me execute this preview. When we were discussing about the sorting, if I wanted to sort it, like if I'm searching anything, it starts with M, but basically it should start with B or A or C, right? So sorting order, how to make a table sorting order. There should be one icon here. If we go to the standard Salesforce, we'll see one icon here. If I click on this, it will be descending order. If I click on this, it will be ascending order. So how to do that using the Lightning data table? Let's see that. So in order to do that, first thing is that on the controller, which column you wanted to make it a sort. Okay, first we have to decide which one we want. Let's assume that on account name, I want the sortable, the icon should be there. So I'll give sortable equal to true. Let's say refresh. Click on a search. So when I hover it, it is showing me the icon. But if I click on this, nothing is happening. Because I have not written any action, what should happen on clicking of this sort. I just mentioned that I want the sortable option should be available only on the account name. So that's the reason it is showing here. But on click of this, what should happen? The logic is not yet written. So let's go ahead and write the logic on clicking of that icon, what it should be there. So in order to do that, we need to have two attributes. One is aura attribute, name equal to, let's take a sorted by. This type equal to, let's use a string. And the default, let's keep it as a default as a name. Okay. Now another attribute I needed for the direction. One is sort by, which field, and another one is direction. Which direction? Is it ascending direction or descending direction? Name equal to sorted direction. Type equal to string. And let's use the default is ascending. Okay, so I have two attributes that is required for the Lightning data table. One is sorted by and another one is sorted direction. Now on clicking of that icon, what it should happen? I have to write the action here. So on click of that means on sort. I'm clicking on the sort icon. So on clicking on the sort, I wanted to call a method. Let's assume that C dot handle sorting column, sort column. Okay. On clicking of this, I wanted. But how to sort? We have some keywords here sorted by. Lightning data table has to know what is my sorted by field. So how to capture that? I have a field here sorted by. So let's use the sorted by here. And then I have another keyword in the Lightning data table, which is called as a sorted direction. Who is going to tell what is my direction? This attribute. Okay. Now my HTML component is ready. Let's go to the controller. In the controller, let me create a new function, handle sort column, and the function is component event helper. Okay. So here for the first thing is that I need to set this sorted by and sorted direction. By default, I have given a name, but still, in case if the sortable is a different field, so default is by default it is going to take name, but still we have to set the sorted by in case if there is another field. So let's set the sorted field. How to get which field is sorted field? So as soon as I click on this on sort, there is an event that happens here. So that is the event dot get param take the API name. You can just give the field name. And let's store it in one variable, field name. Okay, how this event is going to take, because this field name is there for the account name, account phone, industry, rating. But how it is going to identify which field it should be taking it. So as soon as I mention sortable equal to true, by default, this event dot get param is going to take only that particular field. So now I have a sorted by. So let's set the value in the sorted by. Component dot set v dot sorted by, comma, this is the field name. So sort the rows, multiple rows by this field name. Okay, now the next thing is that I have to set the sort direction. So by default, I can give event dot get params, and I can, this is the value, this is a standard keyword. I can use sort direction. So what this event will happen, as soon as I click on this, it will automatically take the sorting direction. If the arrow is up, it will take it as ascending. If the arrow is down, it will take it as a descending. So this keyword is standard. Whatever the event dot get param sort direction is going to take based on the action, based on the click here, whatever the direction this symbol is there, it is going to take by default that direction. Okay, now let's set the sorted direction. Component dot set v dot sorted direction, comma. I'm capturing that here using the event. Okay, now I have the two values. Okay, so let's go to the helper. Okay, till now what we have seen in the helper parameters are component, comma, event, right? Apart from this, I can also pass the variables that are declared here. For example, I'll be creating the new component. Let me create a new component, new function here in the helper. So let's use my helper function name is helper sort data. Okay, and function. So till now the component I have used it and event. This is the standard parameter we used to do, right? But along with the component, I wanted to get some custom fields. Like I need a field name. For in this case, I need a field name, sort direction. So which is set here. Okay. So what I can do is I can declare those values here. For example, I'm expecting the field name, comma sort direction. This is what I'm expecting from the Lightning controller. Whenever they are calling this, it should pass the component, comma, field name, comma, sort direction. Let's copy this. Let's go to the Lightning controller and here helper dot. This is my function name. Pass the field name and sort direction. Okay, I'm passing those values here. Once I get the details of the field name, sort direction, the first thing what I wanted to know is whether it is a ascending order or descending order. Okay, for example, let's take a descending, which is a reverse. Okay, I wanted to set reverse when my sort direction is a descending order. So that means is not equal to ACC. So this is basically in Apex class, how do we write it? If not equal to null or not equal to ACC, then set something here. Okay. The other way is equal to 1 if not equal to ACC, ascending, otherwise colon null. So something instead of writing the if condition with the open brace and close brace, everything we will write it in one line, right? If else condition, both we will write it in one line. So that's the same thing I'm doing in the JavaScript right now. If sort direction not equal to a ascending order, then set my var reverse. Okay. Now I'm getting the value of sort direction descending order. What is the data that I wanted to sort it? That is the data that is coming from server side is account details. So let me store the data that is coming from server side into one variable because I need data in order to sort it, because I need to identify alphabetic order. Component dot get v dot ACC, which is the account details, and I'm getting it from server side controller. Now, what is the sorting field that I have to do it here? Let's take another function, which is a sort by field. Now I have the data here. In this data, I have the fields. So let me use this sort by field equal to function. And what is this expected? Field is expected here and reverse. What is my direction? So I need field and the reverse. What is the logic that I wanted to write here is, this is a JavaScript, whatever I'm going to write it. Okay, I'll explain it. For example, I have a function. So this is a function JavaScript. X is the keyword that I'm doing it. So if you remember when we are calling the server side controller, in the callback, invoke callback, we are writing that this comma function and then response. Response is the key there. So same way here, function, I'm declaring a variable X. So what I wanted to do here is return my X of field. So let me store this everything in one variable, which is a key. I can put everything in one line. Then I have a reverse here. Reverse not equal to reverse equal to 1 colon minus 1. This is a JavaScript key. I'll explain this one. Because for the sorting, I cannot do in the server side. Doing the sorting in the server side is a first thing. I have to identify first letter, then the second letter, then the third letter, then the fourth letter. So it is very difficult to do the sorting in server side. So that's the reason what I'm doing. I'm client side, I'm doing the sorting based on the field that is applied a sorting. Okay, then finally I wanted to return the function. Let's take some keywords here, a comma b. So return my key of a. So I have here values. B equal to key of b. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to calculate the reverse condition here. So reverse condition is a greater than b minus b greater than a. And then let's go ahead and close this. Now let's call this sort by field here. Two ways I can call it. One is helper dot sort by a field. What are the sort by field is there, I can call it. So this is one way of calling. We have seen this till now. Let's see the different way how to call the helper within the helper. Okay, in order to call that, we have to use this dot, sort by field. And the expected values are field and then reverse. So the field is field name, comma, reverse. Okay, now.
This meeting is being recorded.
So what I was saying is, basically I created a two attributes, okay, sort by and sort direction, because I need to know the name and which direction it is. Okay, these are the keywords that are used in the Lightning data table: sort by, sort direction. On clicking of the sort, what it should happen. So what I'm doing is, on clicking of the sort, I'm capturing the field name. Wherever the column has a sortable equal to true, it will take that field name. Okay, so if then I'm setting the field equal to sorted by. Then same thing, we have a standard event called event.getParams sort direction. Okay, so this is a standard keyword based on the action that is clicked by user. It is going to take that direction. So once I set the value, then I'm calling the helper. So far we have seen calling the helper just like a component and event, right? Component and event. But this time what we are doing is, we are calling the new value. Instead of an event, I have some custom parameters like a field name and sort direction. So I have declared those variables here, and I'm passing those variables to helper. So the main logic which is written is here. Till this point, we are just capturing the information. And the main logic is in the helper. Okay. In the helper, the first thing I wanted to get all the details, like whatever the records, whenever the server side controller returns the value, it's storing in the ACC attribute. This is the container. So from this container, I wanted to store in one variable, because this is the one which is going to play a role for the sort. Because as soon as I click on a sort, based on this particular column change, it has to apply all these columns. Right? It doesn't work if the sorting works only on this. If the sorting happened on this particular column, then this phone number related to that particular account name, it should show the correct phone and correct industry and correct rating, right? So for that, I need to capture the information of the complete account details. So I'm storing that. Then I have one of the variable which I have declared as a reverse. This is basically whenever the sort direction, I wanted to capture the ascending or descending, I wanted to capture those variables here. And now I have another function here, which is a sorted by. Okay. So this function I'm calling using the this dot sort by field. Till now, what we have seen is helper dot sort by field, and then we were calling the function. But this time I'm using the this dot sort by, and the field name I'm passing it, and the reverse I'm passing it. Okay, then I'm using the one function here and building the return. The X, this is the one parameter, each field. I'm capturing the each field. Basically the key values that I'm going to get it from this function. As soon as I have the key values, then I have the values here returning, which is a comma B. So this is entirely the JavaScript logic. Key of A, this can be a number 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. So key of 0, what is the value it is coming here? And key of B, what is the value it is coming here? And then I'm reversing this logic. So this is the JavaScript standard logics in order to reverse it. This everything I'm calculating here, multiply and the A value and the B value. So at the end, whatever this total logic is there, I'm returning that value back to here. Then what are the data that is coming from this is I'm sorting it. So once the entire data is sorted, then I'm storing back to the ACC. Clear? I'm getting the ACC values and sorting this logic and putting the updated records. What are the records I have here? Updated the record values I'm putting into the ACC. Okay, now let's go back and refresh this. And as soon as I click on A and click on search, by default, it is giving me some zigzag order. Okay. Now, if you see the brand has some plus 873 and then United Oil has a 212. The position it is last but one and this position is first, second one. Okay. If I click on a sorting order. So it along with this particular name, it also moved the entire record. This entire record is updated, the sorting. This is the descending order and this is the ascending order. Clear? Any questions?
Clear.
Okay. Now next topic is today we are going to discuss about we'll discuss about the events. Okay. Till now we are clear how to capture the server side controller, how to send the data from client to server, server to client, and then iteration, how to iterate the record and how to display the data table, how to use the each attribute. So these all we have seen. Now we'll move on to the events. So lightning event. What is lightning event? So any notification by a browser. Any notification by a browser component or application any notification by a browser component or application, it can be anything. If we are doing any action, whether it can be component or whether it can be an application, whatever the actions we are doing on the browser is called as an event. Browser can be anything, like if we are opening the Google Chrome or Mozilla, anything. So basically the event is if the user is doing any action on the component or the application inside the browser, then it is called as an event. And this can become in the interview questions. What is the event? Okay, so the events are basically two types of events. One is component event and the second one is application event. And we have a third one which is called as a system event. System events are by default fired by the component, which is like a Aura handler. We have seen Aura handler. On click of that button. Okay, those are the system event that are fired automatically. As soon as I load it, there is some event is firing. That is the Aura handler event, init handler. So that is a system event. Okay, and other things are browser component event and application event. Component event, application event comes into the browser event. Because we open the either component or application, we open in the browser event browser. So system event, browser event is the two types. Within the browser event, we have a two events, which is component event and application event. Again, what is the browser event? Which is handled by the browser. So whatever events that are happening, basically browser is going to handle those events. which is called as a browser event. Example, like we have a on change. We have on change, on focus, off focus, on load, on blur, on mouse over, or on mouse up, mouse down. So these all are browser events that happens within the browser, which is browser is going to take care of these events. So on change of, so what is the browser event on change? We just press a tab button. Like we have a tab button on the component. If we just press the tab button, it goes to the another automatically. Like backend, the event is going to fire and it will call whatever the required, the logic is there. So that will be called. And whatever the logic has to be executed, it will execute on clicking of the tab. If it is a on change event or on focus or on blur, same thing. The browser, as soon as I click on any of this, browser is going to listen to those events. And then it will send those events back to the logic which is written at the back end and display the information, whatever it happens there. And then what is the system event? System event is handled by the Lightning platform. System events are happening by the Lightning platform. So my bad, this is system events are two types, because system event only when it is executed the component or application, only the Lightning platform is able to control the events. Whatever events are that is declared within the Lightning component, those are the system event. So system event is basically the Lightning platform that is handled by the Lightning platform. And the system events are two types of event. One is the component event, another one is application event. So whenever the event is handled by the component, we call them as component. That means whenever an event is handled by the component is when I say event is handled by the component, let me open the paint. Okay. Now the first thing, so this is the browser event. Okay. On the browser event, it's not restricted to the Lightning component, because JavaScript also can execute on the browser, right? It doesn't matter which technology I'm using it. So whatever the events that I have on the browser, okay, as soon as I click on this, it is going to go back to the logic. It doesn't matter whether it is going to the JavaScript or Lightning component. It doesn't make any sense to the browser. So whatever the event that is happening within the browser, this is going to take care of it. Okay, so when it comes to the system event, so this is the system event. System events are also opening on the browser, but on top of it, I'm applying my Lightning there. So this is handled by the Lightning application. And let's assume that I have opened the application. So this is my application. When I click on a preview, I'm opening the application. Inside this application, I have a component. Let's assume I have a parent component. This is my parent component. Okay. Inside the parent component, I have a two child components. Assume there is a child component 1 and another one is child component 2. And this is the child component 1 and this is child component 2. Okay. On child component, I have a button. And there is a one more field. It's kind of a enter string or enter text values. So as soon as I enter text, then user is going to click on a submit. So this is what we are doing right now. Okay. Coming to events, how the events are working here. Okay. So where is that my event is happening? Event is happening on the child component. But where is this child component? Inside the parent. Okay. So whatever the events that are happening, it goes on the top. That means you might have heard about the bubble and inheritance. What is the inheritance means? Inheritance means top to bottom. How it will flow the data from top to bottom. From parent to child, child, grandchild. Inheritance will pass the data from top to bottom. But when it comes to the lightning event is always from child to top, means from down to top, which is called as a bubble. The data will be passed from child to parent or child to application. So it will be in the up direction. The direction of the data flows from bottom to top. That's why we call it as a bubble. Whereas inheritance is from the top to bottom. So grandchild is going to pass child, child is going to pass the data to parent, parent is going to pass the data to application. Okay, but there is another component which inside the parent component. Does this will trigger whatever the event happened? That does this handle the information? No, this will not handle the information. Siblings cannot handle the data. If this sibling component has to be, if you want to handle it, it has to go to parent. From parent, it has to come to the child too. But direct connection won't be there. Okay. if these components are outside of the parent component and there is no parent component, then it works. But if I have a parent component, inside this I have two components. Okay. So if one of the component event is firing it can only handle the data in the parent component. It cannot handle in the child, whatever the sibling components are there, that cannot handle. And the data cannot go down also. If I wanted to pass the data, okay, if I wanted to pass the data to lower, like for example, in child one, I have another component here. Okay. If I have another component, which is maybe grandchild, and whatever the event that happens here, I'm calling the lightning event. And once the lightning event is called, I cannot handle the data here. It will be handled here. From there only I can pass it to any other component. It will be always upside. So that's the reason it called as the contentment hierarchy. Component is handled in the way of contentment hierarchy. Is this clear? The data passing and the values, how the flow is happens from the child to parent. Is it clear, Gopi? Sorry, is it clear, Koti?
Hello, are you able to hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm fine. So my my understanding is like this. So whenever the C1 even in the C1 component, whenever the event fires, so parent only can handle that event. So it cannot be handled by the C2, right?
Right.
And the data flow between any component is like from bottom to top.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay. So that's good. In the component event, what are the different steps that we have to take care? So the first thing is that we have to do component event propagation. Component event propagation. And then next step is create custom component events. And then fire the component. And then handling the component event. Okay, these are the four standard rules that we have to follow in order to implement the component event. What is component event propagation is nothing but the event that we have to fire. So in order to, basically I have to create an event here. What is the event that I need to create? Component event. Till now we have done the lightning component, lightning application. So the new one which we are going to do is lightning component event that we are going to create it. Right, and the next one is custom component event. So what is the custom component event? How to write the code in the custom component event? Till now we have used the aura component, or if it is application, aura application. For event, we have to use aura event. In order to initialize the events, we have to use the aura event. This is a component event, so that's the reason we have to use the component. It should be capital component, and whatever the data you wanted to write or add to declaration, everything we have to do in the aura event. So this is the custom component event. As soon as I'm done with the component event, then I have to fire the event. So how to fire the event? In order to fire the event, the first thing is that from whichever the component I'm doing the event, okay, if I wanted to call the lightning component event, the first thing is that we have to do aura register event. Wherever I wanted to hit the, in this case, child is going to hit the event. So in the child, we will write aura register event. And then we will write the name and the type. What is the type? Type will be, what is the type? Type will be our lightning component event name. Okay. Name, I can give any name. Okay. So this is, I'm going to register the event. That means I'm calling the event. Once I'm done with the register event, I have to fire an event. Where should I need to write a fire an event? Wherever I wanted, like once it is registered, like in the child component, in the HTML component, I'll write the aura register event. In same child component, in the lightning controller, I'll write whatever the event, I'll declare that event. In order to fire, I'll just use a fire in the lightning controller. The first one, we have to do it in the component. Then I have to fire in that particular event. The next one is handle the component event. Handle component event. Once I'm done with the fire and the register event and fire, then we have to handle that particular event. So where we will be writing this handler? In the parent class. In the parent component, I have to write aura handler. Handler, in the markup I have to write aura handler. What this contains? This contains the name. Okay, any name you can give, and then we have to say event equal to whatever the event name is there. Whatever my lightning component event name is there, we have to use that particular one. Aura handler, name, event, lightning component event name. And then we have to call the action. Because I wanted to get the value from the lightning event. So this should be a method or function I'll be calling it here. Okay, so for the component event, the first thing I have to use the Lightning Component Event, and then I have to declare the code inside the Lightning Component Event. Aura.event type equal to component I have to use, because right now I'm implementing the component event. Then in order to fire the component, first I need to register the event, and then in the Lightning controller I have to use the fire. And the last one is handling the component event. Handling the component event has to be in the parent component, and the key is the tags is aura colon handler name event and the action. Let's see the quickly one example how to create a Lightning component event. So let's close all of this. So this time I'm going to create a Lightning event. So far we have seen Lightning application, Lightning component. Now we are going to see the Lightning event. So for the Lightning event, E colon 1904, and then this component name, this is the parent component. So let me create P hyphen some example one. This is a parent component. I'll note down somewhere. This is a Lightning event, sorry. So by default, as soon as the Lightning event is created, by default, it says the type equal to application, but we have to use type equal to component, because right now we are creating the component event. So change the type from application to component, all are in capital letters. Description, let's say that this is event example. Okay, let me, so this is one line. Okay, let's see one line how it works. So I have created the Lightning event. Now let's go ahead and create one new Lightning component. So LC 1904. Parent example component. So right now I do not have any controllers that I'm going to call. We'll just see with the hard-coded values right now. So I'll declare the Lightning card and title equal to parent component. Okay, I'll write some text here. Hi there. So I'm not doing anything in the parent component. I have simply written some text here. Then let's go ahead and create a child component. This is my child component, C. Submit. I do not have any controller. Let's create a Lightning card here as well. Title equal to child component. Inside the Lightning card, I'll put some text like I am child. component okay. So the logic that I'm going to implement is on the child component. I'm going to click on a button. So on the child component, I'm going to click on a button. When I click on button, what it will happen? Let's see that. Let's create a button on the child component. Lightning button. Label equal to submit. On click equal to call the function handle submit. Let's close this. Okay, what I'm doing the function, I have to capture some value. As soon as I click on a button, I wanted to call the lightning event. Okay, as soon as I click on this button, I wanted to call the lightning event. In order to call the lightning event, the first thing is that I have to register it. So far, what we have done, we have created the lightning event. We have customized the lightning event. Now I'm going to register the event. So Aura column, register event. Okay, for the register event, I'll just use the name as a first, and then I have a type. Type should be my lightning event name. So this one, we use the C. Usually we write C dot for the function. If we wanted to call the function, or if I wanted to call the server side method, we write C dot that method name or the function name. For the lightning event, we have to use C colon the lightning event name. So this is I'm registering it. Okay, I'm registering the event. It's fire did not happen. I'm just registering it. Then I'll go to the controller. And this is my function name. In the function, I wanted to call the lightning event. I wanted to fire that event. Okay, let's declare a variable event equal to component dot get event. Component dot get event. This is for in order to call the event. Which event I have to call? The name is first event. Column. Now I'm calling this event. It's not yet fired. I'm just registered here and I'm calling that event here. Now let's go and fire the event. Okay, now I have fired the event. I have declared the lightning event, which is a type of component. And I have created a one lightning parent component, one child component. Okay, in the child component, I have a button. As soon as I click on a button, I wanted to fire the event. In order to fire the event, I have to do the register first in the lightning component. Once the register is done, whatever the name is there, we have to get using the component.getEvent. Usually for the attribute, in order to get, what we have to do, component.get v.attribute name. For the event, we have to use the get event. And the name of the event is first. Now I'm getting that event. Now, once I have the details of this particular component, At the back end, this particular variable, whatever is there, it will hold the name of the event. Okay, and name of the event, I'm going to fire it. Now I'm firing the event, but nobody is handling it right now. So let me go to my parent component. Let's handle it. Okay. In order to handle, I have to call the child component here, LC colon 1904, because right now name says parent and child, but till now the child component is not inside the parent component. So let's put the child component inside the parent component. So this is my child component. Let's handle the component here, which is aura colon handler. What is the name? Name, I can use anything. This is the first handler that we are going to create it. And then we have an event. Event is my lightning event name, with how to call C colon the event name. C colon event name. And action. What I'm handling it, what is the data that I'm getting it from the event. Handle get event. Loads the handler. Now copy this, go to the controller, and my function name is handle get event. Okay. So right now from the event, I'm not passing anything. Okay. We are just using the static data. So let me show here some alert message. The parent component is fired. I'm just writing an alert on the parent component. Okay. So I have a parent component. I have a parent event, parent component, and the child component. Okay. As soon as I click on this button, it has to show me alert, because that's how I'm doing it. As soon as that button is clicked, I'm firing the event, and at the same time handler is happening it. When the handler is happen, it calls the action. In the action, it has the alert. So let me use the lightning component. Lightning application. Okay, C column. Let's see. Okay, this is my parent component and this is my child component. Both are showing inside the application. Okay. As soon as I click on submit, my parent should fire it. Right? As soon as I click on submit, the parent component is fired. So how this is working basically? Let's go to the paint. Let me open the paint. File, new, not save. So I have an application. Inside the application, I have a component. This is the application. Okay. And inside that, I have a parent. I have a parent component. What is the component name? This is the parent component, which is LC colon 1904 P example CMP. This is a lightning component, parent lightning component. Inside this component, I have a child. I have a child component. Okay, inside this, I have a child component. What is the component name? I have LC 1904 C example CMP. So this is my child component. This is the application and this is my parent component and this is my child component. Inside the child component, I have a button which is called as a submit. This is a submit button. Okay. This is what we have implemented right now. Out of this, we have implemented which is called as a lightning event. Lightning component event. We have created a lightning component event. This is an event. Okay. So as soon as a user clicks on the submit button, what I'm doing as soon as the user clicks on a submit button, I'm firing this event. How I'm firing it? The first thing what I'm doing here is register the event. And the next, if I have to pass the value, I'll be passing the value. Because if the event holds any attribute, so we have to pass the value. If event does not hold the value, then we need not to pass the any value. Let's see how to do that after this. So pass the value, then we have to fire the event. These three steps are happening when I click on a button, submit button. Okay. If there is any value that attribute that event holds, for example, this is the event. Let's assume that this is holding a one of the attributes. This is holding a one of the attribute. Once I click on a register event, I have to pass the value. For passing the value, I have to pass the value to the lightning component event. Then I have to fire the event. As soon as the fire event is happened, it will take the values that are passed by the child component. This attribute holds the value. And then it will pass wherever the handler is happening. So usually the parent component is going to handle the value, right? So the parent component is, here we are handling the data. So whatever the data it holds here, it will send back to the Aura handler. So from the Aura handler, I can get the values from the event. So on the parent, what are the steps we are doing it? Handle the event. So which is the handler event, get the value from the event and then display it. If you want to display, otherwise alert message, whatever is required. right? So this is the overall structure backend. The flow it happens. So whatever we have seen the program, the backend flow will be like this. So right now we have seen as soon as I click on a submit, there is no data which is passed from child to parent or anywhere. It is not passed. So it is just as soon as I click on a submit, there is an event that is going to fire. Event is not holding any attribute. So directly it goes to the parent. We are showing some alert message from the parent. Now, if I have to pass any value, how to pass the value from child component to lightning event, how to pass the value. So can the lightning event hold the data or not? Let's see that. So let me go to the child component first. Let's assume that there is a one text field. Okay, let me all together create a new lightning event, lightning component. Okay, let me create a new one altogether. So this is a lightning event. And this is hold data. Okay, lightning event is going to hold the data that is passed by the child component, and it will pass it to parent component. Okay, so by default it is application. Let's change it to the component. And the description, we can use anything, event template should be fine. And let's end here. Okay, so inside the Aura event, let me declare a Aura attribute to hold the value. Aura attribute and name equal to, let's assume that EMP name. EMP name and the type equal to string. Okay. So lightning event extension always be EVT. Right? So now my lightning component event is ready. So lightning component event does not have a bundle. It's just one HTML component. So it does not have a JavaScript or nothing is there. So only either it will handle the attribute or some kind of a style where which we can handle it the component level, only that will be handled. Usually in the real-time scenario, component event is used to hold the data and pass the data. Okay, now let me create a new lightning component. This is my event name. Let me save it somewhere. First, let me create a child because that's how I'm going to register the event. So let's take as a C colon hold data. This is a lightning component LC. Okay, click on a submit. I do not have any controller here. Let me declare one attribute because I'm going to request data from the user. Aura attribute name equal to ename. Let's assume that ename. Type equal to string. Close this. I have the attribute. Now let's declare the lightning card. Title equal to child component. Okay, so let me put some text here. This is child component. Now I need a Lightning input because I'm going to request a user to enter some data. Lightning input label equal to enter the name, enter the employee name. Okay, value I'm going to store it in v.ename, and I need a button because once the user enter the data, I want the user to hit the button. Based on that, it is going to fire the event. Lightning button, lightning colon button, name label equal to submit. On click of this button, I wanted to call the function, which is C dot handle input. Let's assume that handle input. Okay, let's close this. Okay, my component has attribute where it's holding the data that user has entered. Then I have a button. Let me register the Lightning component event. Aura colon register event name equal to second and then I have a type equal to my Lightning component event name. So how do we call C colon the lightning event name? So close this. Okay, I have a register event here. Now let me go back to the controller. And my function name is handle input. So the first thing what I wanted to do in order to fire this, I need the value of the employee name because I have to pass the data to the Lightning event. So I need this value. So let me store the user has entered, whatever the user entered the data. Let me get that information by using the attribute v.ename. Now I got it. So once I have this, let me call the event component dot get event. What is my event name? Name of the event is second. Okay. What is the extra thing here? We have to pass the attribute. In order to pass the attribute, we have to use evt.setParams. Same thing, set params. When we are calling the server-side controller also action.setParams. So here we are calling the event. Event also evt.event.setParams. Set params and the JSON string is what is the value that is expected from the Lightning event is emp name. Emp name, and I have to pass the name that is entered by the user. Okay, now let's fire the event. Okay. Call the event, pass the parameters. What are the parameters that are expected? pass that using the set params and then fire the event. Done.
In the get event, it should be in double quotes or single quotes, right?
Yeah. So second, right? So my child component is ready. Let's go ahead and create a parent component. Let me use P here. Let me store that name somewhere. Okay, submit. In my parent component, I do not want to do any much logic here. Let's use the lightning card and the title equal to parent component. And let's close it. Inside this card, I'll just display this is parent component. Okay, this is my lightning card. Now inside this my parent, let me call the child C column, my child component name. Okay. Now the parent in the child component, I'm registering the event. Let's call the Aura handler here. Aura handler name equal to second. Event. What is my event name? Equal to C column, my event name, and then action. C dot handle event data. Close it. Okay, my parent component is done. Let's go to the controller. Let's use the same name. What I wanted to display here, I wanted to get the value from lightning event. Okay, for passing the parameters, we use the set params. As soon as I click on this event dot, there is an event file and then get params. Get param. What is the value that I wanted to get from here? EMP name. Let's store this in one of the name variable. Okay, now I'll display this alert. This is parent data entered in child. So user is actually entering the data in child, but displaying in parent. Right, let me use this parent component in the application C column. Component name. Okay, update preview. So this is my parent component, child component, enter employee name. If I type Swapna, submit, says that this is the parent data in child Swapna. Okay. So this is how we pass the data between the each component. If I wanted to pass the data between the child to parent, this is how we do it using the component. So can application handle the event? Like right now we are doing the handler event in parent component. Right, I'm doing in the parent component. So here I'm calling the parent component. Can this handle my event? Yes, it can handle. Let me give another name here, handle app data. Okay, Control S. Let me go to my controller. Lightning application, I'm in the Lightning application. What is my Lightning application function name? Okay, now here I wanted to show different alert. I am from application. And let's update preview. So employee name, Bruce, submit. On the child, I'm doing the submit. The parent data entered. Then if I click OK and then application data. So it's going the direction in the up. From the bottom to top, it is going. First, I click on the child. And when I click on a submit event on the child, it went to the parent. From the parent, it went to the application. It's always upper side. So let's assume that I have a grandchild. Let's create a grandchild one component. File new Lightning component. This is a grandchild. All data submitted. So Aura component, let me call the parent component here. C colon. I'm calling the parent component. And in this, let's go ahead and use the Aura handler. Let me copy it from the application. So now I'll go back to the grandchild. Okay, so let me call Aura handler here. Let's use the different function name, grandchild data. Copy, let's close it, go back. And my function name is handle grandchild data. And let me put one more alert here. This is grandchild component. Okay. Let me refresh the app. So it shows parent, child, there is no grandchild because I have not written anything here in the grandchild. So let's take the lightning card. Title equal to grandchild. Inside this card, I'll just put some text. This is grandchild. Okay, now let me refresh. I did not read. Oh, sorry, this is a grandparent. Let me use this grandparent. File new Lightning component, copy this, and my application. Let me use the application here. Save, update, preview. Okay. So this is basically grandparent, parent, child. Okay. Let me change that. So if I click on the event on the child component, first it will go to the parent, and then it will go to the grandparent, and then it will go to the application. So this is how the data flows between the component to component and application. It always, the direction is always upside. So that's why we call it as a bubble. In the Lightning component, we call it as bubble. And it's a contentment hierarchy. We call it as a contentment hierarchy, which is a bottom to top. Let me stop recording.